Looks like we are successful. So we're on air again on YouTube. That's fun. I guess at everyone again, Nathan.
Is that allowed?
Ping people again.
I'm definitely gonna piss a lot of people off by doing this.
Yeah, I know. But like, it's got to be done.
It's required. All
yeah.
Right, let me get the new link.
We only ping them once a week usually, you know.
Yeah, this time they get it twice a week. It's okay.
3 times, but that's fine.
All right.
I'll segue this into an advertisement for our Discord. I think that's a good segue. We never were down on Discord.
True.
There's an incentive.
So reliable.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot to ping. I sent the message without pinging.
Oh no, now you got to do the at everyone.
Yeah. There we go.
Criminal. Okay, well, this is fun. Okay. See if we can recover any of our audience. I'll wait a moment to let the resilient few who carried over last time to carry over again. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
We've got 909 Crime.
Oh, 909 Crime is a champ. Oh my gosh.
Already here.
Mixed Media Mondays, absolutely. There you go. Sub 909 Crime. You're our favorite right now.
I think it's more like technical difficulty Mondays.
Yeah, it seems so.
Yeah, we should do it on Tuesdays to get the alliteration.
Tuesdays.
Technical difficulties Tuesday. Okay. Anyway, welcome back to everyone who's journeyed with us. You're my favorite. Thanks, man. Thanks for following us through this little technical difficulties journey. My internet randomly went out twice, and I don't know why, which is not very promising, so I can't really promise that it won't happen again. It seems to be completely out of my control, so that sucks. But we were talking about an interesting topic, which was the cost of a live broadcast studio. So we had a very, very low estimate of $7,000, and we had a very, very high estimate, although he was thinking of different things anyway. But of a few $10 million. Ricky, do you want to find somewhere in the middle there?
I'm just going to throw out a number, probably somewhere around like 30 to 50, maybe.
50 what?
Thousand.
Yeah. Okay, so you are the closest, although it's
off.
It's multiples of that.
Wow. Okay, well, in my defense,
500,000.
In my defense, I said 7,000 plus or minus a few million, so I think maybe I had the closest.
Within your threshold.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so here's the reality of the situation. So I spec'd out a very new tech reliant. New Tech is actually a company, so that was an accidental pun, because that's a broadcast company, makes broadcast equipment. But I don't think I have any of their equipment in my gear. But the itemized list I made for the esports project that I'm putting together a pitch for. Put together the broadcast, the preliminary. It has to get audited. I probably have to go over it 4 more times to feel like I've done it properly. And live broadcast production is a little bit new to me. When I say a little bit new to me, I mean my experience with live broadcast production is this. So, which actually has come in handy. I'm not going to lie. Like, I thought this was going to be completely unrelated to putting together a huge studio, but the core, understanding of how things work is actually similar to this, except with all the terribleness, which is caused by not having tons and tons of equipment. So, the cost of just the equipment to put it in a studio that you already own, like a space you already own, or rent, whatever it is, that's going to be around $100,000. around $100,000. So around 3 times what Ricky said, a little bit more. So not terrible, not terrible. Did we lose Ben? Okay, no, he's back. There we go.
Sorry, changing my webcam.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Hopefully it looks better.
I thought more bad stuff was going to happen.
No. I realized I didn't plug it in, so.
Gotcha.
Hopefully it looks better.
So $100,000. Oh yeah, it does look better. Yeah, definitely. $100,000 just to put the equipment in, and that's very cheap by broadcast production standards. And the reason why that's very cheap is because I was using newer tech, whereas older studios, they build out from their base because it's so expensive. They can't like start from scratch like I was doing, where like I'm basing the whole thing around new tech. And I don't mean the company New Tech, but new tech. Whereas they're basing their backbones off of these older systems, and that requires them to upgrade on top of those older systems. So their whole system ends up being tons more expensive. So to do the equivalent
software, where like old software has like a bunch of, old software has a bunch of like old software like underneath it, right? So you want to make modifications to it. It's like a nice shiny can of paint over like a pile of poop, essentially. Whereas like if you redo it, it'll be a lot more efficient, probably. With like old software like Windows, for example.
Exactly. So yeah, if I were to do the equivalent with like the old backbone, it'd probably be a good 3 times more expensive for that sort of minimal setup. Be like probably around $300,000. Now that doesn't include the fleet. The fleet being all the cameras. If you're going to actually shoot the event, if you're contracted to shoot an event or whatever. So the cameras would be, the whole fleet, I should say. I'm not done with the calculations for that, but it's looking like it's probably going to total for a modest fleet to something like another $40,000 to $50,000. So your fleet is like half the cost of your freaking studio. And then lastly, if you're doing esports specifically, you have very specific needs in terms of broadcasting the players, especially because the way that I've spec'd it out is for a remote broadcast. The only way that it can be done, in my estimation as of now, is that way for now. And then we can scale into non-remote things if things go well, whatever. But let's say you have a team of 20, which is a nominal number. It's not based off of anything. I just sort of guessed. 20 on a team. That team's AV fleet, their audio-video fleet, is $25,000. So every team that joins the league, I am necessitated to shell from the parent company 25 more grand just to be able to do the filming properly with them. So fascinating process that I've been going through, learning all that stuff. It's very, very, very technical.
Really?
Way more technical than I expected. And I'm a very technical person. So
where is this $25,000 going? Like, what are some big ticket items here?
For what, the esports or
the $25,000? Like, where would that go?
for the teams, yeah.
For
the team of 20, so you have to just divide that by 20 to get the per player cost. So it's to have a camera, a face cam, right? And for my purposes, I want it to be rather future-proof and flexible. So I opted to go for a 360 camera platform that actually has a 180 camera on front. So I actually have a 360 camera. It's not in front of me right now. I wish I could show it, but you can attach like a 180 nicer module to it. And then what that allows me to do is pan down to look at the player's peripherals as well as their face. So to have that flexibility in a small package, because it's a remote, I can't engineer it. I have to have like a total solution that they just hit the on button and then I walk them through or the engineer in reality pre-show would be walking through like 3 steps basically to get things connected up. Then I have to have their program out, their game out feed. And I've went back and forth whether I was going to grab this from in-engine or not. I'm getting really technical with this, so sorry, y'all, but I think it's interesting. the reason why I opted to get a capture of their screen and not just pull it from the engine, which would have been the more advantageous thing, especially because in this particular game that we can't discuss on the show just yet, we can get the head position data and just recreate the scene from the engine. That would have been a lot cheaper and more flexible. But the problem with that solution is cheating. It's all the cheaters. So we actually need the feed out for the referee to be able to stare at it and make sure you're not doing anything bad. Which unfortunately you have to think about these things. And then it simplifies my camera operation pipeline to be run by one person, since I have now I have a hard angle that it's just being broadcast to me from the computer of the player. So that system, to be able to do that, is $500 and something per unit, just to be able to do capture without affecting the game performance. I need to have a separate thing so that I don't affect their internet speed too much and their game performance at all, pretty much.
Like you essentially would be like a capture card type thing?
Yeah, it's a little fancier than a capture card for broadcast purposes, but yeah, essentially it's a capture card. If anyone's curious, look up NDI. It's great technology. We're using it right now to pull from Skype all the video feeds. It's called NDI. It's the sort of backbone that I'm basing the entire new platform around is NDI. So if you were ever curious about those things, maybe I'll have an episode about it now that my mind has been opened about the broadcasting world, and I can speak to it a lot more in a more informed manner now. By the way, I respect everyone who works in broadcasting so much more now. My goodness. You look on some simple, you watch Spike Ball on ESPN or whatever it's called. Like, I don't know, I was at a restaurant recently and they had Spike Ball in the background. I was like, okay, it's random. And you're like looking at this, like it's a pretty like stripped down feed. It's not anything fancy because it's Spike Ball. Like it's not trying to put NBA levels of like, you know, effort into the feed. But like you're still looking and you're like, that's still hundreds of thousands of dollars poured into Spike Ball. You know, potentially over $1 million just for Spike Ball. So yeah, that's an interesting thing. But anyway, that was my big thing for this week, is finally arriving at some interesting numbers, which has taken me a long time on that front. So yeah.
Before we move on, I have some bad news. I'm receiving technical difficulties on my end at the moment. I'm going to need to restart my computer.
Oh my goodness.
So basically what's happening is, like, I can barely hear myself think. I'm having this background noise, right, that my computer is generating. It did this earlier today, then I restarted my computer, nothing happened. It stops. I was like, oh, we're good, right? It started again. It is a persistent saw wave that is, I don't know why. It's very, like, it's not even quiet. It's kind of loud. So it's like been hard to hear you guys. I've been hearing, but you know, it's been a bit tough. But I cannot do this for like another hour, so I'll have to be right back. Hopefully, me leaving the stream won't break anything further. So yeah, see you in like 3 minutes or something.
Okay, cool. Well, while you're doing that, any news from well, actually, let's start with the music world. Any news from the music world, Ben?
I don't know. The most interesting thing, at least for me, on Friday, there's a kind of well-publicized concert with the LA, I think it's called the LA Film Orchestra. It's kind of a new organization of like people who are dedicating themselves to playing film music and doing this kind of concert. A lot of, you know, like studio musicians, but also people that I know playing this at the Walt Disney Concert Hall, you know, the home of the LA Philharmonic in LA, playing a kind of tribute concert to Basil Polidorus, who's most famous for his music for Conan the Barbarian, The Hunt for Red October, Free Willy, and RoboCop. And I think selections from all of those were played at this concert. And I don't know, it got a lot of attention amongst film composers, and a lot of people think this is something, you know, we want to do more of in the future, more like featuring film music. even when we're not doing like the live to projection concerts. So I don't know, got a lot of attention in at least amongst film composers and the LA news.
Oh, you came back pretty fast, Nathan. That was good. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, well, instead of me talking to him, so stuff that I noticed, interesting things. I went to look at the new releases for this week, and then I was reminded some of the interesting things that I've been noticing. So Nope just came out by Jordan Peele. I have not seen it yet, but I will almost certainly be seeing it in the theater. I find everything, even if, like I would say, stylistically speaking, I enjoy, what's his first film's name? I forget these things really randomly.
Get Out.
Yeah, Get Out. There we go. Great film stylistically. Really great debut for a director. Fantastic job he did. And then there was, after that was Us. There we go, Us. And that was really interesting conceptually. Found it didn't really have great rewatchability. It's kind of a novelty. Interesting to think about further afterwards, but not as much to, I guess, want to rewatch over and over again. But still a great entry. So I'm interested to see what this film is about, because I feel like he's a very conceptual director. He thinks of a concept, has an idea, and then he just pursues the idea into the ground. 99 Crime says Get Out was amazing. Absolutely, I agree. So
I saw like 2 trailers for it because my brother was asking if I wanted to go watch it with him, and I'm like, I can't really tell what the tone of Nope is supposed to be. It was my problem from the trailers.
Yeah, I think that's the intention of the marketing. Yeah. Is to be extremely unforthright about
yeah, like one of them is like it's a horror movie and the other one is kind of like it's a sarcastic thing. I don't know. So
yeah. Another film that's been out, there have been a few films that have been out, but the other one that I'll talk about is Thor: Love and Thunder.
Are we losing?
Oh no, don't tell me something's happening again.
Oh my gosh.
You're kind of cutting out.
No.
I can hear you, but like.
Hello? Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys.
Video quality's dropped down to like
Okay.
like 240.
Also, I didn't want to interrupt you, but you're not streaming on Discord anymore.
Oh boy.
Let me check YouTube.
The buzzing's back.
The what's back?
The buzzing's back.
Oh my goodness.
It's only happening when you speak. Wait, it's only happening when
I speak?
No, anyone. When any noise happens, that's not me. Before it's constant. When any noise... Okay, so here's what happened, how I fixed it. I went to restart my computer, but I closed Skype first, of course, and it stops. It's like, oh, maybe it's just a Skype thing. Now, when it happened earlier today, I was on Zoom, so maybe it's just a general, like, whatever you call it, like a video online interface thing sort of deal that's going on. For some reason, it doesn't like my computer. So I guess Skype, I was like, okay, I guess I had to restart Skype, which fixed it. But now it seems like it's a different problem. It's just when other people talk. Now, I don't know if that's related or not, but I spilled water on my laptop. So that might be somewhat related. But it's like a little bit, okay? I thought we're fine, but I'm not really sure anymore.
Yeah. Okay, 99 Crime says we're good now. So if he says we're good, that means we must be good. So I'll finish up my thoughts real quick on news. But so yeah, Thor: Love and... Oh, Ricky, by the way, are you a Marvel fan? Quick question.
Pretty selective with Marvel. I do love Marvel. Like I grew up watching like the X-Men when it first came out in theaters. I was all over that, like specifically the X-Men. And then they started rolling out Spider-Mans and all that, and I felt like it got a little bit too overwhelming to keep up with. Like they're just back to back, like there's Thor, there's the Iron Man following down, and then there's Black Panther and the Avengers, and it's just, I watch them. I'm just not like probably the hugest Marvel fan, but okay, I do like some specific areas. So
this is a respectable opinion that you have. Otherwise, I would have kicked you off my show. But I'm just kidding. But you know, I don't really, I pretty much dislike anything that Marvel has put out for the past, I don't know, however long. There's like random movies that are like doable for me, but I just can't anymore. Like I
It's just
want
like
to,
bam, bam, bam. Like we got another one. We got another one. You got to hit it
yeah,
next quarter. It's like it's like too much. They got to back off.
yeah. Every time I trash on them, you know, I know that I attract some negative attention.
Oh, so you don't like
Um,
them at all?
I mean, like, okay, most of them are competently made in the sense that they're like objectively put together. They're put together. They're objectively.
They are movies.
You know, they're like literally the most forgettable things. Like I'll watch them. I'll sit there and I'll be like roughly entertained, I guess. Like sometimes
Yeah.
I'll go, ugh, but like sometimes I'm like, okay, this is entertaining enough. By the end of it, though, I forget everything. I don't care about anyone, and I just like, why did I even do this? Why did I spend money on this? That's my
They're becoming like the new Disney, right? How you just kind of put on a movie for the kids and just kind of let them be. They used to be the Disney movies, right? You put on Bambi or Toy Story, but now it's like you just put on Deadpool or a little bit of Spider-Man in the background, just kind of keep them occupied.
Deadpool specifically.
My nephews love Deadpool. They yeah, I don't know what it is. Well, I know what it is, but
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, they're like actually like select movies in the Marvel catalog that I respect. I'm not going to trash on all of them, but it's like literally like maybe I don't know, maybe it's a tenth of them at this point because there's so many of them. I don't even know. But in any case, though, I have not seen Thor: Love and Thunder. I probably will never see Thor: Love and Thunder. But I have seen some very sad Marvel fans. I've heard from the grapevine hearsay that it's very unorganized. It kind of sucks the fun or sucks the essence of Thor away from him. I thought they did that already, though. That's kind of what I'm like confused about. I was like, didn't they do that? Or maybe they're just playing their joke over too many times. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Can't comment on it. I just found it interesting. I feel like the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been in a constant decline ever since the last Avengers film, which makes complete sense from every angle. That's very predictable that would happen.
Actually, I remember you telling me that. Yeah, that you said that.
Pretty good at predictions.
Right. Yeah, actually, very. Yeah, you're saying something about how you felt that the essentially Marvel dominance would end, pretty much.
Yeah. Question for what happens afterwards, which is not looking very good. I'm not going to lie, but conversation for another day. Cool. So that's my news. Anything you've noticed, Ricky?
as far as Marvel,
No, anything at all.
no, there's just a couple of movies I haven't been able to catch up to. Just been pretty busy. Like I mentioned to you a while back, the Guillermo del Toro movie, Nightmare Alley, was one of them. I've been itching to go back and rewatch The Empty Man. Kind of just hit these different types of films that kind of just fill that void because I've been slacking on watching movies.
Yeah, I feel that. Same. Wait, Nathan, did you talk about gaming news at all, or?
I was gone for a bit, so.
Okay. Any news?
There's a leak from Roblox who. It's weird talking about Roblox because I always think like, wow, this is some really niche game, right? And I was like, oh yeah, they're actually like 1 trillion children who play this thing, so I had to talk about them. But
I play it seldomly. I mean, I just
there you
gotta
go.
admit,
Right.
there's a football game in there that's really fun. I don't know.
There are random good Roblox.
Yeah.
I find most Roblox games like I can't. there are a few of them where like, hey, it's actually pretty good. Yeah, so there was a leak of information. Unclear why this happened. If it was It seems like it wasn't like a ransom type thing where Roblox refused to pay and then stuff got released. Although the news seems to be saying that it was a ransom thing, but not really sure about this one because as far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure Roblox itself has said that. But there are seemingly like no ransom notes. Like there's no want for money. So I'm not really sure. I don't know. At least from my little investigation, but I didn't really look too much into it. I haven't looked through the documents. I probably won't. I don't really care that much. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I'll probably like watch someone's summary, like a reader, or watch someone's summary video on if there's anything I should really care about. I see headlines like stuff about like Chinese censorship within Roblox and stuff like that. But I think we all knew that was happening anyways, considering how is Roblox in existence in China without censorship? That just doesn't that's just how every game in China operates pretty much. Yeah. Other than that, I can't think of anything. Yeah, I can't. Oh, there's like some like meme news, which is like Minecraft devs said that there will be no NFTs, and then everyone was like, "Oh wow, hooray, Minecraft!" And it's like, all right, move on. It's not a big deal. Not a big news story. Everyone's making a big deal, like, "Wow, Minecraft said there'd be no NFTs in their game. This is the best thing I've ever heard." It's like,
why? Why does it matter? Like one way or another, whether if you don't want them, you don't buy them, right?
Right. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
unless the NFTs give you access to things or something, like any other like microtransaction, I suppose.
Right. But the thing is, what separates it from a microtransaction? Then, I mean, I don't really. I don't know. I mean, okay. I don't know. Okay. I just like it to be a big deal. Is my. It seems more like virtual signaling. Like, oh, here's some free points for saying no NFTs in Minecraft. I will redeem the free points, pretty much. All right, that's all. I don't. Slow news week, I guess.
99 Crime says some NFT company was building a platform off of Minecraft and they started bugging hard. They might be building their own Minecraft clone now.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm sure look at some like modders who are trying to do things with NFTs and stuff like that. I can imagine interesting things being done, whatever, good or bad. I don't know, but
the amount of people biting on IPs to make NFTs is like, I mean, y'all are all gonna get sued. Like, I hope you understand that. Like, you're gonna lose literally everything. You are farming money for everyone else, and they're gonna snatch it up once you've made enough. That's pretty much what's gonna happen to you. I mean, I can't imagine why you would think that you could use copyrighted images from like Minecraft and other things and it not be a problem. But people will be wild in the NFT world. Not the way I'll implement it, but that's for another day. Cool. So it's 10:20 and we haven't even started our first segment, so this is a good start. Hit the thumbs up button if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're on Twitch, consider giving us a follow. And if you're on Rumble, there's the Rumble button. It's the plus button over there if you want to hit that button as well. And thank you for listening to this first segment. If you're confused as to why I'm sort of transitioning out of here, it's because in the post production of this podcast, we split this up into several different segments. And so if you want to check out the post-production version of these podcasts, which are less silly, there's some silliness, good enough silliness, but less stupid silliness, then you can follow us on any podcasting platform: Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, literally everything and anything. If I'm not somewhere, let me know, because I think I've gotten us onto literally every platform. So if you like what you hear, then rate us on those platforms and drop a little comment, say what you like or don't like. And the final thing for the segment, shout out to 909 Crime and Rob Sharma for supporting us on mixedmedia.locals.com. They are great supporters of the podcast. Okay, let's go into our first segment. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Mixed Media Movies.
And nothing's broken. We transitioned and nothing broke. This is great. So welcome back to the Mixed Media Podcast. This is another awesome week with your favorite segments. And this week we've got a guest, Ricky Garcia. Want to say hello?
What's up, guys?
And he's interning at Auriela right now. He's been doing a freaking fantastic job, I gotta say. Really impressed. I just want to chat with him about everything and anything, pretty much as he'll let me.
Did we lose Nathan?
Oh no!
Huh?
No, I was just restarting, so I didn't want to interrupt you. I didn't want to say that, but I was restarting to get rid of the noise. It's gone now, so
Okay. Well, he's back.
I might do it again if it comes back. So just don't disregard if I leave. Join again.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess we had a good pause. Before we move on to the actual interview, just shout out to 909 Crime and Rob Sharma for supporting us at mixedmedia.locals.com. No one has used the live whiteboard. I've taken care of this thing. I'm pointing the wrong way. Is this way? Yes. On this side of the screen, there's this beautiful live whiteboard. And I can prove it to you right now that it works. It functions. It's beautiful. Anyone who's a supporter has access to this live whiteboard to doodle and roast us as they please, and do whatever they want within reason. So if you want access to the live whiteboard, and if you're listening in podcast only, we have this beautiful drawing board that you can draw while we're talking and all this kind of stuff. This is Ricky. There you go. Then you can support us for $5 a month at mixedmedia.locals.com. And all the support links and all the stuff is at mixedmediapodcast.com. So there you go. So, Ricky, how's it going?
It's going pretty good so far.
Cool. So yeah, I guess my first question, and it's always my first question, because I always want to start from the big view of everything. How did you get to where you are now? Like, walk me through your life story in the sense of, like, how did you arrive at this point? How did you get here? Choices you made, choices you didn't make, all that kind of stuff.
That's a loaded question. So I've pretty much always been into art, to drawing, at a young age. Actually got in trouble a lot in school for drawing. All the way through, all the way up to probably about 9th grade, and even then in high school, I would always draw my folders, inside on the papers, on the assignment sheets. I always turn them in with a little doodle on the side. So, I knew I wanted to pursue something in art. It was just a matter of getting that education behind it, is what I felt was important, and I couldn't really afford that. So I decided to, sign up for the military, and got myself shipped off to Great Lakes for the Navy. Came back and got some assistance for schooling. I went to school, and then I ultimately pursued a career in education in graphic design. Hopefully that'll kind of give me like a basis to kind of work off of. And recently finished. I officially graduate this upcoming Saturday, and
congrats!
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. And so, yeah, that landed me in an opportunity to intern for you as an associate producer and kind of show you what I'm capable of, because I don't feel like my portfolio really shows my capabilities. It's pretty limited as far as like showing what I can actually do. And yeah, I just hope to keep drawing, and then pursue some sort of filmmaking. I'm not really sure where my skills are as far as that goes, but I'm always willing to learn and open to everything.
Yeah, as far as film goes specifically, is there anything particular that drew you? Because there's a lot of ways to take general I guess creative mindset and apply it, but why film? And was there anything particularly that, moment where you're like, I want to go towards film?
I always had these memories of like I don't really remember the age. I would have to guess like around like 5 or 6. my parents would have these weekends where they would have, the family over, the uncles, aunts, everybody, and they would come back with like this stack of like VHS tapes and just line them up next to the VCR player and form the couches around the TV, this little, like little 22, 24-inch TV with the noob tube in the back, and the kids, they would send them all to the same room and play, and they would always rent like horror films, and I would come out, kind of peek around the corner, and I would see they would be watching, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser. They would watch like High School High, like all these like 80s and like late 70s films. And since then I've always been into like, that scary genre, always like finding like animations that were scary, or like finding like these creative directors and producers, and I just really picked up like a love for film, and like how they're able to like capture these different angles in the movies, like it's always been like fascinating to me how they put this whole piece together, like these hours upon hours of like filming, and then trying to get the right shots, and then just piece it all together in one, like 1.5 to 2 hours for someone to view. I just thought that was like a really respectable thing and really cool.
Yeah. I still remember the first time I realized how many people were on a film set.
Yeah. You never see beyond the camera, right?
That number would be approximately.
Wait, what'd you say?
So how many would that be? Because I don't know.
It could wildly depend on the scale of the movie. The first movie I saw, the I guess full crew, quote unquote, although there are even many more than those you see on set who are working on the film, was looking at the behind the scenes of Dark Knight, which is going to be a very large scale version of that. But I'm sure there's hundreds of people on that set. Yeah, hundreds. So yeah, I mean, for context,
Right.
For Operation First Light, the film that I worked on with, I can't point properly, with Ben, we had 100 individual credits, and it was a short film. So
Do we really have that many people? Oh my goodness.
there was 100 people who touched that film at one point, which is
Those aren't 100 on set, right? Because a lot of those people are either in post or pre-production only, right? And they don't have to like be there. So
Yeah.
like, if you imagine that kind of scaling on like a Dark Knight type set, if it's like hundreds on set, you can imagine how many are doing things before and after.
Yeah, it's like a high school size amount of people like who touch like a film like Dark Knight.
Note that high school size does not mean. I've learned this. High school size does not mean the same thing for everybody.
That's true.
I always thought our high school size was like normal. I'm hearing about these like small high schools and stuff. I'm like, what?
Yeah, thousands is what I'm thinking. What were you saying, Ben? Sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, I was going to say, probably though for Operation First Light, most of the people, there weren't that many people who were only like off screen, like behind. Not many people who were only post production.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's definitely true. Yeah, I have to go back. Oh, a lot of the musicians took up a lot of those spots, of course. So,
Oh yeah, 'cause we actually credited the live musicians. Yes.
Yes. We actually. Fun fact. Sorry to hijack this interview randomly, but fun fact to all those who are listening right now. Guess what? The musicians who play the score are the literally only people, as far as I know, who don't get credited in the final credit roll on the film.
This from our prior episode. You mentioned that.
It's now technically under the new agreement with AFM 47. You're supposed to on like big five studios, if they're filming in LA and recording in LA, are supposed to do it now. So you can actually see it like if you watch all the recent Star Wars, like Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi, they actually do list all the musicians. And I'm funny. I watching because I watch it because only for that. pause it and like look at all, because you can't take a screenshot from Disney Plus. Right? You're trying to get a screenshot, it'll kick you off the platform. Even though I'm just trying to take a screenshot of the musicians and the credits, but so I pause and like note down all the people who played, because I know I have a good idea of who a lot of the major players are. So it's always interesting for me to do that. So slowly shifting towards doing that, but yes, generally they're not credited.
Only like 100 years later. Go ahead, Nathan.
I don't want to hijack this even further, but I don't know if I'm extremely ignorant or something, but what is the Book of Boba Fett? What is that?
Just kind of snuck that in there.
Oh, I guess Nathan, you don't pay much attention to Star Wars, do you?
I mean, no, but the thing is, it's Star Wars, so I thought I would just know, I mean, I don't know. Paying attention to know the movies, but I've never heard of the Book of Boba Fett.
I don't know that I have time at this point, as late as we are in the show, recording live, for me to describe what the Book of Boba Fett is. That's another discussion. We can talk about that some other day.
All right.
I have lots of thoughts on it.
Is it a movie or a show?
It's a show.
It's a show.
Sort of.
Oh, maybe
it's a 6-episode thing.
Okay.
They're not doing movies. I mean, in theory, Taika Waititi is doing his film, which he made some music like 2 weeks ago, I think, where he's like, oh, I was talking to Natalie Portman, who was in Thor: Love and Thunder, and he's like, I'm making a Star Wars film. You ever thought about wanting to be in a Star Wars film? And she's like, yeah, I was one of the main characters in the prequels. And he's like, oh, really? I didn't know that. And okay, we're not going to go into this. We could talk about Star Wars like all day.
That is a hilarious story already.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. Okay, back to the interview. Sorry, Ricky.
You're good.
But yeah, all that aside, so that's interesting. The horror aspect of things. Is there like a particular set of influences that you have, or I mean, well, actually, let me ask you this question first, and then we'll back up to influences. Mm-hmm. But is there? So what has your experience been? And I kind of know the answer to this, but that's okay. What has your experience been with filmmaking thus far, like practically speaking?
So far it has been kind of like reading the script, breaking down the script, the certain amount of items that need to be on set and on where the set is as far as like location, how many people are in frame, and kind of like the smaller details that you probably would overlook if you were just jumping straight into it. And further on, like the storyboarding, just trying to frame out where you feel like people should be. And then there's so many eyes on this, so many different perspectives, which is really cool how you can all kind of piece this puzzle together and try to figure out, what's going to look best for this film. And then even further, the color grading, like they're just, it's so in depth on how far, this just like a regular like short film could go, even down to the characters, what they look like, what they dress like or whatever, their hair, what do they smell like, it's just so detailed. You can kind of like play around with so much, kind of fantasize and really bring like your ideas to fruition. And it's pretty much been my experience so far, just kind of like putting my own take on someone else's idea.
Yeah. You've shot your own stuff too, right? As well? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to put you on the spot right now.
Yeah, I tried. It's not the best production, but it is short. Yeah, it's easy to get through.
No, I was going to say, I wasn't going to criticize you. I was going to say, I watched it. You sent me a short a while back. I finally got a chance to watch it because my life has been insane a few days ago. And then I forgot to tell you beforehand that we should break it down on the show because we do that all the time. But I don't want to put you on the spot, so I'm not going to do that to you. But maybe some other week we can do that. It'd be fun. But I'll talk to you about it beforehand. But yeah, so you've shot your own stuff. Like, how's that been?
Pretty unorganized. I didn't know what I was doing. It was a project that I kind of got thrown on me, and I was trying to figure out, all the steps. Like, I pretty much like kind of grazed over like the proper procedure to actually getting a short film in motion, and I wasn't that experienced. I didn't know what I was doing, so I kind of had the bare minimum on absolutely everything, and I didn't even have storyboards for it. I just turned on the camera, just adjusted the focus, kind of got people in frame, and just try to figure out what shots look best, and at what time of day, and that's pretty much how everything went for that. Wrote down minimal dialogue. I didn't want to do too much to kind of complicate things, and really try to get my idea across as far as body language and tone.
Cool. So was that a school project or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a school project.
I will tell you, no. That is a positive reaction, because you want to know what a school project looks like at a premier university. I can show you.
I love to see it.
Yeah. If I had well, actually, I have some that I was involved with, unfortunately.
Okay.
So I might have to do an episode where I just go over some
hiding.
Yeah, let's just say I took Intro to Digital Film thinking that I was actually going to learn something, and then I ended up teaching the whole class. That's okay.
Are we ever going to do a show where we like break down Operation First Light? That could be fun.
Oh yeah,
that would be very fun. Yeah, I that literally has never crossed my mind. So
that's the name of a short film. If people don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that one day. We're gonna have to break it down. I want to remaster it at some random anniversary of the film, but that's for another day.
You gotta do it before those kids hit puberty and their voices suddenly do not match.
Oh, they already don't match. Match.
No. That was like how many years ago?
That was like a while ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Probably already.
Yeah.
5-year anniversary re-release. Yeah, I mean, one of their voices changed mid post-production. Oh. So that was really bad. That was really, really bad. Went from
like
a very
Stranger Things. You catch them years later, kind of out of frame now. You got to adjust the camera.
Shout out to him. No offense to him, but he walked in to the audio studio to come to ADR his lines, and he said, "Hey, what's up?" I was like, "Oh no, oh no, oh no, this is very bad. This is very bad." And the thing is, he plays literally the mousy character. That's the funny part, is he plays like the mousiest character, and his voice had to get deeper. That's okay. Biology, doesn't wait. So anyway, yeah, that's funny. So I was gonna say, like, for a student, like for a school project, I don't even know how you got it to be coherent, given my experience with school projects. So that's good. That's good. So have you shot anything else besides the one thing that you sent me, or like, are you sort of on pause until the next opportunity?
I haven't. I do have some stories that I've been writing, short stories here and there, and I've started developing some scripts based off of some of those stories. And one of those stories has storyboards, the other ones don't, so they're just kind of sitting right there on my drive, just trying to, one of these days I'll probably pop in, throw in a couple of words and, a couple of paragraphs, just look over the script, basically, just trying to, like, lock it down to see where it, like, sounds right, because I don't want it to be, like, unrealistic, but it's kind of hard to come up with a story when you don't really have the experience in what you're writing about, right? Because I don't know anything about being a cop or working in the office or anything like that, so it's kind of like I have to visualize these lives that they're living without actually living those lives. So it's kind of it takes a little bit of research, I guess. But yeah, that's as far as I've gotten. As far as shooting anything else, is really not shooting, just kind of developing these stories.
Oh boy, do I know it. I think I have 4 films conceptualized, pretty detailed. One of which was initially going to be my next short film, ended up being expanded and expanded and expanded, and now it's a feature film. So that's that's horrible. It's not a good thing. But I understand what it is to have projects on the table. But So where do you see yourself going though, in terms of like what the next steps look like? Because you're currently working, right?
Mhm.
So where do you see yourself going next, or are you sort of still figuring out what the next steps might look like for you?
Um, Honestly, I think I'm still figuring it out. I would really love to kind of get this feel for, filmmaking and trying to learn every aspect of it. But going back to the storyboards, I kind of fell in love with drawing all over again. So it's like
Mm,
I got so many eggs in my basket, and I'm just trying to figure out, which ones to kind of leave in there and focus on. It's kind of been back and forth, my whole life. Like I want to be an actor, I want to be a filmmaker, I want to be an artist, and it just kind of, just revolving circle of like, which one should I set on? It's just like it's like the wheel of fortune. Like whatever I land on that day, that's what I'm gonna go for. But I'm really trying to set it on like two things for sure. But filmmaking, I feel like goes hand in hand with being an artist and try to bring your visions to the screen. So that's really what I want to go for.
cool, cool. And I do understand that feeling entirely. So yeah, you're speaking the language. But like, it's good to be multidisciplinary, especially if you're going to take a higher level position in filmmaking. If you're looking to direct or DP or set design, all those things. Understanding the disciplines that affect your craft, is very very important. So it's a good thing to be multidisciplinary, in the film world at least. Um, but so do you have any leanings in film in terms of like where is it actually being a storyboard artist like specifically, or not sure still?
At the moment, not really sure. I have been looking into storyboard artist positions, maybe another internship to kind of feel out the field before I actually dive into something, like a full commitment. So yeah, either storyboard artist or somewhere along the lines like a operator, like a camera operator.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, one thing I've noticed, to give my 2 cents, just limited time that we've worked together, is that you have a lot of visual competency for someone who doesn't have the experience I would expect to go along with that visual competency. So what do I mean by that? I mean, well, I'm not trying to throw shade at other people, but like, it's when you talk to someone about, this has been my experience working with people. When you talk to someone about why a certain decision is making, you usually get one of two types of responses, and that kind of dictates whether or not you're going to treat that person like an idiot or not. And those two responses are, I don't know, I just think it's awesome, we're just going to do it this way. And the second is, well, maybe I can't explain it the best, and maybe I don't have the vocabulary to explain it, but I'm going to do my best to explain the why. And I feel like you fall in the latter category, which is a much easier person for me to work with. And to me, that is more like being a real artist than just throwing the die in the air, so to speak. A lot of people feel as though their intuitions are purely enough. I mean, and maybe like if you're like, a 1 in a million like star child, that could be purely enough.
But your standards too, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you're not trying to make good stuff,
Huh?
if you're not trying to make good stuff.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant like I'm thinking in terms of music, right? Like, there are some musicians I hear talk about, and I don't know if they're like, I don't know. I mean, I guess they could probably. Yeah, I guess I'm thinking something different. They use intuition, but I'm sure they could. Like they know why they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like even if it's intuition, it's like built off of like just the fact that they've learned all these things in the past, and it's like they're not really necessarily thinking about these choices, but they're making decisions. They're so good at their craft